We're back. And guess what? No delay. Whoa, technology working good tonight.
So far.
Allergies are still here. It's slowly fading away.
It's not fading. It's still there.
It's
strong.
It's not strong.
It's really strong. I can hear it from here.
Anyway, mothers. We're hoping that you had a great Mother's Day weekend and all you ladies got what you deserve because you guys deserve the most. I mean, on our Sunday, our pastor and our first lady, they did a dynamic dual message together to celebrate Mother's Day. It was a beautiful message. Just to see both of them together. You know, they're powerhouses anyway, but you know, Lady Wynn, she doesn't always speak a lot, but when she does, powerful.
And even the mothers bring out people to come to church.
Yes.
Who we haven't seen in a long while.
Good point.
So nice. It's just not Easter. It's just not Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's also Mother's Day.
Right.
You're welcome.
Right. Mm-hmm. So how was your weekend, man? I know you preached up a good message, right?
I didn't preach. My sister preached on Mother's Day. It's not they didn't ask me to preach. I don't preach unless they ask me to on these special days. When it's not
Debbie preached?
Huh?
Debbie preached?
Debbie preached. Yeah, good message.
Oh, I got to get that.
Wow.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Debbie, I got to get you because you know convocation coming up. Let me see that.
You should expect God to do this. You should expect to live in this way. You should live this way. You should expect God to give you this. Oh, she was on target. Yeah, she was good.
Okay, I just gotta put it on your. It was televised, right?
Yeah, it's good. But it was a great Mother's Day. We always give gifts out and stuff to our mothers. It was actually not. You know, I'm still in that transition stage. I'm trying to figure out how to get us back to the level that we were before the pandemic, but God knows. So I'm still, just struggling through, but God knows. So he'll make it happen. Family, we had, we did my wife, the kids helped cook and we cooked her a meal and gave her her favorite stuff and she rested and didn't have to do any work on Sunday as it should be for Mother's Day. Why are you all laughing? What?
We'll tell you that offline. We can't say it online. We'll tell you that offline.
I hope it's not what I'm thinking. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. All right.
You just had a flashback. Okay.
Yeah. So welcome everybody. Welcome to all of our viewers, our longtime friends and people that come on.
You're not gonna let us talk about our weekend. You just cut
everybody. Oh, sorry.
No, we didn't.
we just thanked all the mothers.
That was all
in the whole world. And that was our weekend.
Okay, go ahead. How was your weekend, fellas? How was your weekend?
It was a quiet weekend, sir. It was a quiet, mainly sports weekend because you got the hockey playoffs, you got the basketball playoffs, you got baseball playing, even though the Orioles ain't doing nothing right now. But you got all these games on. And, of course, we don't watch it, but in Baltimore now, this is Preakness week. So that's getting busy in Baltimore, too. So
what was it in Baltimore this week?
Preakness week.
Horse racing.
Yeah.
Horses.
Yes.
Oh.
You want to see a kind of big event that is.
It is a huge event.
It's huge.
Yeah, because the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont, the Triple Crown or whatever they call it.
Yep.
Yeah, so super. Okay.
Yeah, you don't know about it, but Park Heights is going to be busy this week.
Crazy.
Park Heights.
but so anyway, yeah, like I said, for Mother's Day, I took my wife out Friday night. We're out Saturday, out Sunday. So I'm a little tired.
Yeah, we took the wife out, some of the family. I took my wife out Sunday. It was nice. The food was nice.
Yeah.
She ate what she wanted.
Before we get into the show, I have a question. How come on Mother's Day, the fathers always, it's supposed to be the kids should be doing everything, right? Why is it that we fathers and husbands have to get so much involved?
Well, it depends on the family because my daughter helped out with stuff. So
Well, they help. Like my kids help, but we should be sitting back like this too.
Nah, we do that in June.
In June
for Father's Day. We set back.
Exactly. Even though that the stores will only have one section and not 3 sections like Mother's Day,
and you get a reservation. You don't have to worry about it. Actually, you don't need a reservation on Father's Day. You just show up.
Man, I went to go. My wife loves shellfish, loves crab legs and lobster. So I had to go right after church to the spot to get it. The line was super long. Some guy comes in. This guy comes and says, "Man, I hope it's like this on Father's Day." And the woman said, "Why?" I was like,
"Oh, do some shade out there."
She didn't have to throw shade. She could have said, "She won't."
Hi.
Well, anyway, say what you got to say.
So, saints of God, those who are not saints of God, and those people, friends and family, continue to push the like and share button. And subscribe with us, please, because it helps the show a lot. It really helps us. No, we appreciate everyone who comes on the show, watches the show, even during the week. We appreciate you. We love you all. Continue to do that. Pass it on to your friends, your neighbors. Soon the dogs will be able to watch, but continue to watch us. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So tonight we have another exciting show to bring about some stimulating conversation.
He said no.
So we're talking about, as Christians, what do you think about the political landscape?
Oh, Lord.
As Christians, what do you think about the political landscape? We're not talking about anybody getting booted out of different countries tonight. That's not the segment. So listen to our title. We're sticking to our title tonight.
We're not talking about immigration?
We're not talking about immigration.
Okay, then.
Well, that's part of the political landscape.
Okay, then.
That is part of it. So
it's going to come up.
So we'll see. So let's talk about this. What do you guys think about what's going on now? Me personally, as I said earlier, I think people have voted for someone that said they were going to do one thing. They got in and did another. Some people voted because of the whole thing about abortion. I love babies. I believe a woman should do what they need to do. I'm not saying anything more about that, but my thing is that some people voted because of that. Some people voted because they don't like the gay agenda. Okay, that's you. I get it. But you got to look at the whole picture of everything that's under that. Look at what's happened now because of what you decided to vote for. So the political landscape has changed. IA has come into the picture. Mindset has changed. It's really crazy now.
Did he just say IA or is it supposed to be AI?
AI, excuse me, AI. It's funny you said. I'm glad you said that because I was watching this thing the other day when the Department of Education said A1, said A1 instead of AI. Excuse me. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah,
political landscape got me messed up. So what do you guys think about this?
Okay, on my perspective here. Okay. Trump promised a whole lot of stuff that was going to go happen. He promised, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Okay. He may have done a couple. I'll have to scout this up. But a lot of things that he didn't do, that he said was going to do, and let me say one of them is these tariffs. Now he's got to double down. Instead of 140, he down to what, 30? Anybody can correct me now, but now he's negotiating because at the beginning, to me, he's supposed to be this big, bad man who was going to rule and no one was going to persuade him not to do anything that he wanted to do. He was going to lay down the law, and a lot of laws that he's doing, which is also being fought in Congress. There's a lot of fighting going on, but yet he's had to back down on all the promises that he said he was going to do. That's just the beginning of the conversation that we're going to have. I'm not saying that nothing's going to happen in the future, but over his 100 days, or because now The conservatives are saying, you got to give it a chance. You got to let it run over. This is what the shows I'm watching. Because you can't plant something in the same day. Not saying that this man promised this on the first day. This is what we're going to do on the first day. Because I'm not playing. And we're going to do this. This is the beginning of our conversation.
Well, to your point, my question is this then. Why are people so silent? Why are the voices not being heard when they're seeing what's happening that's done wrong?
Because they can't get their eggs.
This is why we can't have a show like this. This is the exact reason why. We can't have a serious show. If it's live, it's got to say something because they can't get their eggs.
I'm sorry.
I can't come back after that one.
Well, anyway.
But people are afraid to say something or to rise up against what they're seeing, what's happening today. I'm wondering why that is.
And people are getting fired for it.
Yeah, well, the political landscape, right, changes all the time.
Hmm.
Depending upon who's in office, depending upon who's in the House and the Senate, political landscape changes because those who govern the rules and laws try to tweak it here and there. I think that we're in a system now, though, that the political landscape has changed dramatically. Not little changes here and there, but dramatic changes that have caused dramatic issues in politics for the people, for the United States, and especially for us citizens.
Right.
I think it changed a little bit in his first term, and I think it's changed a lot in this term.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick out, why don't people speak out, was your question, Mark? I think people do speak out, but I think that most people don't speak out because they're like, what's the use? Right?
Yeah, I think
there is
Democrats, I think the Democrats speak out, but if the conservatives speak out, then it's given that they're not loyal to Mr. Trump,
to their party. And
the next minute, they're being dealt with, because even Democrats we know also are being fired also. So
but I think that, and I think you're right. I think conservatives don't speak out because they're worried about the backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're worried about what may happen further down the line, I think.
Well, let's look at this. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're in the office, you're in office for the people, correct?
Yeah.
So if you're in office for the people, wouldn't you want to do something to help your people versus being in the office just to collect a paycheck?
But you see the
to me, it seems like that political landscape has changed. The whole priority in your mindset now is not about what you're going to do for the people, is make sure your job is secure.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying, fingers here. He's saying he's doing it for the American people.
That's why people say that's why he voted. He said he was going to do this. Why he voted for him to win. He's doing what you asked him to do, and it's true. Like Simon said, he said he was going to do these things, right? But hey, it's out there.
And
don't read the comments. Just
no, I'm not even looking at that. But again, but from a Christian perspective, what are our thoughts? I mean, I know we don't put our confidence in man, period. We know that.
Right.
Our hope is in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's our true foundation. And again, I believe God has an office whom was designated to be in the office, we would say, for such a time as this. And it makes our responsibility as Christians to make sure we're praying for those who are in office. Hopefully, they will seek guidance and go the direction, thus saith the Lord. But again, they can put a deaf ear towards that as well.
If my people
who are called
by my name, that's the first thing.
Exactly.
Right? You gotta be called by his name. Then they gotta humble themselves.
Humble.
That ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
No. Seek my face. That ain't
happening.
Turn from their wicked ways. That ain't happening. Then you will hear from heaven. So
right.
the problem is that even though we're praying for the government, is the government saying, Lord, you need to guide us? They're not. They're doing their own thing. It's on both sides. And
Yeah.
and like you said, there's always problems. There's no politician who ever is going to give us the perfect will, because nobody's God. No one's perfect. They say stuff sometimes. They want to get it done. This doesn't happen because of whatever reason, but they're trying their best. But what we're seeing now in this landscape is people just straight out lying, like right to your face, lying.
Yes.
And that's what's scary to me, because if people are lying, and then you have people who don't see through the lies, they don't understand that these are lies. They take them as truths, and then truths, like we talked about, perspective and perception, talked about that. Now they're perceiving these things to be real. And now we have people being deported because they have tattoos on their fingers, and we're saying they're MS-13, and everybody believes it's MS-13, when the fact of the matter is nobody knows the truth except for him.
This is true.
But they're asking for due process, but people instead are saying, well, it took him, it's been 14 years, he's going through process, it's time for him to be deported. Well, the fact of the matter is that if he has not gone through the full due process, like the Constitution says he should, it didn't get completed. And we cannot be barbarians. We're supposed to be the land of the free and the brave. And it seems like we're the land of you're only free if you meet my criteria of what you should be.
Well, I'm glad you made that statement, because the thing that irritates me the most is the clergy who stand behind this craziness, because we are supposed to be the lovers of men. But when I see clergy supporting that craziness of allowing people to be deported instead of having that, what is called a sanctuary, what's wrong with you? Didn't Jesus love the unlovable? Didn't Jesus didn't cast anyone out. He brought them closer to him. I don't understand these clergy people who, they're not reading the same Bible that we're reading. Where's the love? Where's the compassion? Don't get me started, because I get emotional about that. I mean, that love and compassion is gone.
It's
too late. He started.
The Church is speaking out better than the evangelicals, like people like us. The Catholic Church is speaking out greater than we are, and it's incredible.
But that's like how now they have a new pope, and now the pope just so happens to be American. So now here comes, i.e., the savior of the Catholic Church now. So hopefully, which one statement was, hopefully he can come over to America and say what he got to say and do that,
yes,
and that we can connect. So myself, is that now I can see that you worshiping man, because, of course, Pope, the most celebrated religious man, I guess, on earth, because of his status. And it's probably a stuff status that he got to deal with, but he's not God. He's definitely not God. And he have some loving words, and he's going to say a whole lot of words that make peace, mean peace, and let people come together. But I'm with Mark. I'm with Mark on this one. Is that church has changed so much because the message is not going out. God message.
No.
Yeah.
It's not it's a pacifying message now.
Come on.
And that's what people are preaching, because some people want to bring more people in, and how they defend themselves on what they're saying, how they're bringing it in, and everyone has their own opinion, but our opinions don't really count, because that means we're not of God. I mean, I can love you. I mean, I can shake your hands. Yeah, you doing what you're doing. I don't have to hate you,
right?
But I don't have to agree with you neither. Mm-hmm. But how is it that our thoughts on what's going on, we're not of God, or we're not being right? We're being disrespectful to people, and we're not.
I mean, the political landscape makes it seem like every immigrant is a criminal. That's not true.
I'm not a criminal.
That's not true. just because you may not be a typical U.S. citizen, it does not make you a criminal. Let's look at some of the Americans that we have. They're actual criminals. Nothing's really being done about them. Let's look in our own backyard.
I.e. the president.
But even in the backyard, I mean, the political status, no one's talking about what's happening in America, these people who shooting up on schools, people who are doing this. Yeah, we say this, we do that, but we want to talk about the gang members from it and how they coming up here killing, but not the killings that's happening here right on our doorstep.
That's what I said. Look at our own backyard.
Yeah, whenever you hear these conversations, right, you hear people state the fact that immigrants do less crime statistically than do the citizens. And of course, that'd be the smart thing, because guess what? If they get caught, they get deported, so they're trying to do any crimes. They don't want to do anything, so they get deported.
Exactly.
So the fact that we use that as a crutch to say we're doing the right thing, it's wrong, because the immigrants, a lot of these folks, especially the migrant workers, they'll do jobs that we're not willing to do. Or at least not for what they're getting paid. I shouldn't say we're not willing to do it. We're not willing to do it for the pay they are being given to do those jobs. We're not willing to do those jobs. And so they help us keep our pricing down. I.e., we see prices going up, not just for the tariffs, but because of also of the pay increase that have to be done to get the things done. But guys, we're getting a lot of comments here.
So say what you got to say. We'll get right into those comments.
Let me get rid of this. Yeah, please like, share, subscribe, because we want to get on with this conversation. It's going to be a hot topic coming up. I can tell you that in the next half an hour. You're welcome.
Amen.
I'm making that quick. Subscribe with us, please. Please subscribe.
Thank you. He gets me choked up.
Hey, okay. Larry and Ken. Okay.
Oh, Guess who? Larry. Hey.
Yeah, Larry. Brothers, if you are going to talk about what you see on TV, you are just talking about the distractions. Look deeper. Look at the big picture.
Well,
but where do we get our information from? I just want to know, where do we get our information from? Is it the TV? Is it the media? Is it social media? Where do we get it from? It's not the radio, because ain't nobody listens to the radio. So he's telling me, go ahead.
You know what I fear? That comment is the comment I fear, right? Because they say all these things are distractions. Jesus spoke about all these things, right? I cannot help somebody if I don't look at the fact that they are being persecuted in the wrong way. I can't help somebody if I don't see the fact that they can't afford to buy food because the price is going up.
Right.
Even though these may be distractions, in some cases they may be, but there's still viable issues that have been created to cause the distractions. And I cannot ignore them to look at something else, because while I'm ignoring them, people are getting hurt. And our job is to save the world from everything, not just from what we feel is the important thing, but from those things that are affecting them physically, mentally, emotionally.
But isn't that what I'll say the Republican side do, is that if you're talking about a major topic and they're not liking how that topic is going, then you talk about something different that's nothing to do with the topic to cause a distraction. So to keep your mind off the topic that you really can't defend because you're uncomfortable with it. So let's talk about fish, because the fish, someone got, next minute, you're not even thinking about the major topic we were talking about, because they're talking about something different.
A lot of them do it. They get asked
a lot.
They get asked a question about something that's very difficult, then they pan off into, well, isn't that what Biden did back in? We didn't ask you what Biden did.
We're not talking about that.
They can't help it though.
Right now, they do it all the time.
They can't help it. They always go back to him. Always.
Hey, James, welcome back.
I'm surprised never going back to Clinton.
Yeah, he said. So James says, as the bishops always say, stay with God.
Yes,
and that is true. We got to stay with God. That's all we can do.
100%. But when we stay with God, right now, God's going to ask us to do something. He's not going to ask us to sit on the porch, right? He's not going to ask us to do nothing. We're staying with God, but what are we going to do? I think you asked the question, right, Mark? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we saying? How are we addressing this? Are we just letting it happen? I think God wants us to speak, right? Because we are the voice of the voiceless, or we're supposed to be, right? Civil rights action started because the church decided to move.
And when that time comes, we just have to be ready. Like God, we have to be ready. And as our preacher says, Bishop says, you got to put it out in love. You got to put it out in love. Be a peacemaker.
Yes.
And not just attack because you're not actually liking what they're hearing, but let's be a peacemaker and see if we can turn this thing around or have a decent discussion.
That's right.
Larry, I think, Larry and Ken is the same person. Larry, I think I might agree with you that the stuff on TV can be, I wonder how them two disagree with each other. I wonder how that happened.
But I think it's the second part of his statement.
Does Christians' perspective have anything to do with politics? Politicians are out there doing their thing, making dollars.
So I have a question for Ken, who asked this question. Ken, are you saying we're supposed to ignore what is going on in the world and we just stick to ourselves in some convent or some nunnery or some hermit crab hole or something? I don't know what you're saying, because the perspective of anything to do with politics, we have our perspective on everything, because anything that comes into this world, we have to be aware of and ready to be able to combat. Because if the devil's bringing it, because if it's for evil, what we've got to do is hopefully pray it through so that it doesn't affect God's children. So I don't know what you want us to do otherwise than have these conversations about everything. And I think that's been the problem with the church for so long, is that we have been quiet on things because they thought Jesus didn't challenge the government. He did. He didn't challenge them to their face. He challenged them person by person, trying to equip people with the right things to get them through this world and through this journey. That's my thought, but I could be off base. I don't know. That's my thought.
So Larry says, Ken, you may be onto something. Politicians are getting richer while talking heads talk about deportations.
Larry, I agree with you on that statement right there.
But yeah, that's an old thing. We know that.
I'm agree with him on that, because politicians are getting richer.
Yeah.
So I agree with that statement. They're getting richer.
How are they getting richer? Some of these are getting richer by deportations. Some of these are making money because of deportations. So they're getting richer because of them. So for me to stop them from getting richer, I've got to find to the root of how they're getting richer. That's a given. To me, that's a silly comment to say they're getting richer, but they're talking about other things. Of course they are. That's how they get richer, right? Why do you think they want tariffs? They want tariffs so the stock market goes down. So when he corrects the tariffs and then takes them away, they bought everything at low prices. Now things go up. Guess what? They got richer. But they got richer because of the tariffs. So we've got to combat the tariffs. So there's a way they get richer. So we have to talk about it, because if we don't, they're going to continue to do it to get richer. We're not going to stop them from getting richer. Me and you do not have the power, other than Jesus Christ, to stop them from getting richer, because money is the root of all evil. That's the word. So I don't agree with that statement. I think it's a statement that people say because they don't want to face the fact on how they're getting richer. That's my thought. But hey, again, let's keep going. A lot of statements here.
But brother saying too, Jesus was not. Help us, Jesus. Okay. Jesus was not a politician.
We know
that. Okay, before I carry on, we know that. He's disappeared. He said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's." Okay, I deleted that too. Okay, then.
Oh, sorry. Did I delete it? I'll bring it back. Sorry.
He doesn't matter. Just give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and leave that over there. Yeah. So, what's new?
Wait.
And so, what's the point?
So,
people always take that scripture out of context.
Right.
Back then was during the Roman times when they had to give when the Jews and everybody had to give pay their taxes and tithes, the taxes and wages under Caesar.
Right. So he started this comment, says Jesus was not a politician. No, he was not. But he was a political voice.
He was a political voice, exactly.
He was not a politician because he was not running for an office. A politician is somebody who runs for office. But Jesus was a political voice. He talked about feeding the hungry. Talked about helping someone. Matter of fact, he challenged those that were doing the opposite to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're going to bring up Jesus, bring him up the right way.
That's
he did not sit at home and just say, worship me. He was the truth, the way, and the light. That means he challenged the then politicians, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He challenged the Roman rule. He challenged the Jewish rule. He challenged all the rulers and said, are you doing what's best for the people? He spoke up. It's so, okay, next one.
So our friend Esther says, you said that, Rupert, this administration continue to disregard the Constitution. That should be troubling to us all. And then, again, we realize that because they flipped the script. The script is being flipped, ripped, torn, everything, all gone.
Yeah, that's my gripe. My gripe is this country has a constitution, and people are just saying, this is the first time I've ever heard a president say, I don't know if that's what the Constitution means.
Mm-hmm.
First for me too. I've never heard somebody say that.
Yeah, we have done so many. They asked him a point blank question. Do you think that this is constitutional? He goes, well, we have lawyers for that. Are you serious? Yes. In the United States, you are supposed to sworn to follow the Constitution, and now you're saying we have lawyers for that? This is what's wrong with the political landscape right now, is that we are allowing individuals to say what they want to say and cause great division. This happened in the church. This happens in our churches too, because churches have constitutions. We call them bylaws. They have constitutions. And what happened to the church is when those biblical or spiritual constitutions were then being challenged and not being talked about, so we could come to a decisive end, church splits. And that's what happens. And now that's happening to our country. Our country split. Not just Democrats and Republicans. It's split in many different ways.
Yes.
So we have to understand that the Constitution is what makes it so that me, you, all of us, we are black men. And if it wasn't for constitutional stuff, the amendments, we might still be up there saying, yeah, Masa.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I'm scared that this guy can now flip it so that we go back to those. He's already got rid of DEI. He's trying to get rid of all these different things. And people aren't seeing the big picture. They're worried about people's bank account getting richer. I'm worried about my son and my daughter living in a country where the black man is safe.
I'm glad you made that statement, because my wife and I, we used to go for the walk throughout our entire neighborhood. And I always take my driver's license. She goes, why you got your license? I said, look, I'm a black man. I need to have my identification on me, because you never know when somebody may roll up on you just for no reason because of who you are. So I always keep my identification with me, even though I'm in my own neighborhood walking around, because as crazy it may seem, but as you said, being a black man nowadays, it's a risk.
I was watching this video of a guy walking out of Walmart, or not Walmart, Home Depot, and the security guard grabbed the box from him. He said, I paid for that. Let me see the receipt. He's like, why I gotta show you the receipt? I paid for it. Do you see anybody chasing me? Because he was a black man, he was challenged.
Yeah, yeah.
But that happens all over. That happens all over in different things, in cars, in stores. Even if you look, what about the two young black girls who were selling lemonade, and the one lady, she got angry, because angry. They were selling lemonade, and it so happened that the policeman bought the lemonade from them.
Yep.
And she got angry about that, saying it's a distraction. It's gonna bring a whole lot of people over here that don't need to be here.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of distraction.
What are you talking about, right? And that's what I'm saying. But it's becoming to a point where now those people that are doing wrong are getting off. They're being let go. The January 6th insurrectionists, they were freed, pardoned. Some of them were white supremacists. We know that. And yet they've been set free. Oh, I don't want to get into this. Okay.
Well, no, but again, that goes with the political landscape now. People are becoming, their true colors are coming out. The colors were there, but now they're not afraid to really show it. Whereas before, they kind of suppressed it, but it was always there. Yeah. But now, like you said, two young girls selling lemonade. What's the problem? Because of their skin tone.
But then when I see the skin tone of, and I'll say this, in the White House right now on the cabinets, the skin tone of how many people sitting around that table, there's nothing diverse about nothing on that table. Yes, I said it. Yes, there's nothing diverse that's on that table. And if anything, I think at the moment there are 3, I might be too much, in the cabinet somewhere that are on Trump's party.
No, there's one black and one Indian.
Right. Indian, yeah, there you go. Yes,
there's one black and one Indian
on his party.
I don't think there's an Asian on there, is there? I don't think so.
I don't think there's an Asian. There might be, but
I mean, I'm just diversity. Period. It's just. I mean, and even the political landscape. The young lady, Carla Hayden, who was the librarian, she got fired. For what reason? And then what's her name? Caroline Levitt.
Your friend.
Yeah. Caroline Levitt. She wants to a spokesperson for Trump. Yes, it was Trump's decision that she wasn't doing her job correctly, and because she went into Doge or she said something different, that's not how we run things here. So we said that she had to go. And hey, look, frustration starts to build because, like you said at the beginning, is that before they may have been 50-50. Now they are really bold, and we just know it.
It's just bad.
Yes,
we got to keep going. I love this topic though. Elder Mark.
Yes.
Love of money, power, fame, and any other ungodly thing. Yes, Brother Howard, we're saying that. That's it.
Yes. No problem. Keith Bland.
Hey,
Go ahead, Rupert.
Does a country have the right to deport persons who enter their country illegally or not? If we break the law, are we subject to the discipline or corrections that are in place? 100%.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing, Brother Bland. If you enter the country illegally, right? You've committed a crime.
Yeah.
But this is not the first time people have entered the country illegally. It's happened a lot, but there's a process when you enter, because one of the things is the country is used to saying, "Bring me your broken, bring me your lame, bring me your weak." That was one of the things the country used to say, because we were the country that you would go to find freedom. And the Constitution says if somebody comes in here illegally, they go through a due process, see if they can be a good citizen in the United States. Mm-hmm. If they can, that means they have no criminal background, they have no thing. we can then let them stay and give them legalization. That's what makes this country great. If they believe that you can produce in a positive way, we'll make sure you stay. But there is a process to do that. Just because you come in illegally doesn't mean we throw you right out on the street. We are not a country that is not supposed to not care. We're a country that cares and gives you a chance. That's what we're supposed to be. And that's why we are a country that used to say, in God we trust. Because we had Christian religious values that started this country, and no man who knocks on my door who needs, and I can see that I can help them, I should turn away for no reason at all.
And we once the land of opportunity. That's what that big old Statue of Liberty stood for when people came over. Hey, we're here. Now it's like, bye-bye, you better go back. Oh, so Rupert, what action have you taken to help anyone?
No, whoa. Let me, Rupert. Let me say this. Okay. Yeah. Wow. You want to get that deep and personal? You tell me. Have you been with Rupert every single day? Have you seen him on TV? Have you seen him? Heard him on the radio? Have you ever watched his messages actually on church? You telling somebody what have you done? Actually, he could have asked us the same things too. What have we done? And actually, Mark and I had a discussion the other day about how many things people do, the good, and people will never, ever see.
Nope.
Never see, because we don't walk around saying, oh, I did that.
Big old sign.
I did this. That's not the way things supposed to go around.
Humility, humble.
And if you want to, I'm pointing now, but the thumb's going back to me. What have you done? Turn it around, please, and say, what have you done?
Hey, I love the question.
Anyway,
I love the question.
It's a beautiful question.
Like you said, if I sit here and I tell people what I've done or what I'm doing, then I would be then patting myself on the back, and I give all glory to God. I've done nothing.
And then they're going to think you're arrogant. And then they're going to think you're this and that.
I give God the glory for. So I've done nothing because I have nothing. But anything that I've done, I give God the glory because it's been through him. Yes. So thank you. Great question.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
So here's Ken.
Ken says, what action?
Oh, sorry. What action be taken care by us? And if it is to talk and pray, that is good. But what does it change? I don't know if he wants
to. There's a part two to that too.
I think some dollars come from the stock market. Yep. But low sell high. Christians, individuals, and churches should buy low too. Thoughts? Okay. I think there are two different thoughts on this one. Let's go back to this one. Does anybody want to answer this?
I'm just saying, he says, and if it is talk and pray, that is good. But you undermining pray here, sir, because you're just saying that is good.
Thank you. Thank you.
What does the Bible say? Faith without works is what? Dead.
I'm sorry. I probably was the least. I'm probably the least that was going to say something like that. But you undermining
prayer.
And it says, what good is that? I'm sorry, Rupert. You talk.
No,
I want to know what Bible are you not reading, my brother? Come on. You know, prayer is the essence of all of our lives. If we have no prayer life, nothing can happen. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, it can move mountains. Prayer of the righteous availeth much.
So what are you doing, Rupert?
Thank you guys. Thank you. I didn't want to have to jump on it. I thank you guys jumped on it for me. I got nothing else to say. You all said it all. Amen. What's the second one? I think some dollars come to the stock market, but low. Okay, so he's saying Christians can do the same thing. You're right. Christians can, but we don't do it. We can't do it at the level that they do it. And trust me, some of these folks that are getting rich are Christians. They believe the things of Jesus Christ and they get rich from it. Matter of fact, one of the richest people in the world, Warren Buffett, said that he is a devout Christian and he will tell you he loves a recession because that's how he gets rich. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Okay, next one. All right.
So Keith says, United States needs to be more fair and comprehensive in immigration policy. That could go either way
Either
because
way.
I think a lot of people are, but you're fighting against those who don't want us to be. So that's the challenge right there. It's not that we're not. It's just like that wall that you keep butting your head up against.
What happened? What was the difference with 50 years ago? It's the same law. What's changed?
Because deep down, they don't want immigrants over here, period. That deep down, they don't want immigrants, whether you legal or not legal.
Mhm.
So they can home in on the non-legal, and then they still sending people who are legal back home. And now then it's not just Mexico or whatever.
Oh,
now
yes.
it's other countries now
Yeah.
that are having problems coming in here. So if you don't have your green card, help us,
You
Lord.
heard him
Yeah.
say he wants to check people that were naturalized.
Exactly.
That I have a problem with that anyway.
I'm not. Yeah, hey, no, I'm not even going to say it. Charles Wiley, and elected officials aren't politicians.
Well, the definition of a politician is an elected official. Is a
Right.
person.
That's what-
Well, the person is a candidate for elected office. But I think what he's saying is that not all elected officials do politics.
right.
And I agree with that because my sister was an elected official and she wasn't politically grounded she was a Democrat, but she was willing to work with everybody for the betterment of the town. And I think that when you get down to the level of mayors and things like that, people are just over municipalities. They are more for the town or the people that they look over.
Right,
But when you get the senators and congressmen and all those things, then it becomes a little bit shaky. I think that's where I am.
Mhm.
Right, and so
here's your
boy.
here is your evidence.
That's
She
why
said-
you don't have to talk.
Right. She says, my brother helps people all over the world. Larry Saunders.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Here you go, Rupert. My brother helped people all over the world. Larry, don't ever say that about me, brother.
Larry said, "Bros, I'm not telling. I'm asking."
Asking what?
Asking what?
Which one, Larry? You asked a lot of questions today.
You asked a lot of questions, Larry. You gotta, yeah, please.
Which one? Okay, I stand.
I stand.
Okay.
We love you, Ken. You know that, man.
Yeah, we love
Always
you.
do. Yeah.
And then Jason said, Simon, say it again. Say it again, Simon. Preach.
He didn't say that. He did not say that.
He said preach.
I'm glad someone said something I said was correct. It's usually Margot Rupert. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I was like, whoa. Wow. Okay.
But the bottom line is this, guys. When you look at what's going on, it doesn't matter what party you're on or you represent. Just make sure you're with somebody that's going to try to help the people. I mean, I was once Democrat. I got out of both. I got out of the Democrat Party. I'm nonpartisan. My thing is this: if you're going to say something that sounds right, I may go with you. I'm not going to go by because you promised you this, then you get up there and you do something completely cuckoo. I mean, look at the big picture, as Larry said earlier. Look at the big picture before you start to go with somebody, because people can do it look at the devil himself. He was cunning. I mean, he took what? All these nice angels out of heaven with him, because why? He wanted all this following. This person now is taking a lot of people with him because why? They want that following.
But that's what's going on in church. People are saying what they want to say on the pulpit, and they got a big following.
Yes, sir.
They say what they want to say, and maybe that's another show. That's another show. But like you said, it's happening in churches, in Congress. What, you got bottles falling from the sky?
What, you saw a wheel in the middle of the wheel?
Yeah.
What, you thought you looked like Ezekiel?
Spider fell down, man.
That was a loud spider.
Look, maybe God's trying to tell you something over there, Rupert.
What? The spider came down by his ear and said, "What are you doing, Rupert?"
You saw that movie, right? Along Came a Spider.
Yes, yeah. So Larry Sanders says, okay, wait a second. Ken may have a point. I told you these two people are the same. Churches should put their money together and buy low. churches can use that money for a lot of things.
Okay, so Larry, I will say this. I agree with you 100%. Man, in a perfect world, that would work great.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we are not in a. The reason why we have so many churches is because people can't agree. So what would happen is churches would put their money together, and they would get all this money, and then they would say, "Okay, what are we going to buy?" You would have 10 different opinions on what should it be used for. And now people are arguing and going to court for who should get the money. Oh, I put 15% of that. I should get. It won't work because there's still people behind it. And until we let God handle it, it's never going to be what we would want it to be because we're imperfect people. And that imperfection is going to come through sooner or later if we don't let God handle it. So it's a great idea. I've talked about it. I believe that it would be nice to have a church where you have 15 small churches. Instead of 15 small churches in the city, why don't you all get together and have one church? But it just won't happen.
That's a good point.
He said maybe you should have a financial advisor and sit back. It's not about the financial advisor. It's about when the money comes, what's to be done. It's not about how to make the money. It's about what they're going to use the money on. I mean, just being in leadership, you guys know, right? So Simon, your security, how many times have you probably said, it'd be nice to get the parking lot done over because it'll help us with the cars, make safe, but you get pushback.
Well, anyway, since you've seen that,
you're gonna tell me?
No. I'm not saying nothing.
No,
but I understand I understand the question is that why can't we have this? When are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Which will help security or whatever. Yeah, but I have a boss I got to speak to, and I can't go out and tell people we're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to have a discussion with so and so we can get it done. It doesn't work like that. I have a boss above me, and we have to talk about it. And they ask me questions. I ask them questions. And then we work on it then, and then it goes around to the church or whatever. But
and here's the thing, right? Your leader has you in his ear.
Yes.
10 other people in his ear.
Exactly, in their ear.
The churches came together where you got 25 leaders, 25 alphas. How is this going to be made? It's
exactly.
not. Right? No. She's back.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm going to let you read this because I'm going to start cracking up because when she says this name, I just always crack up.
Okay, Mark, you took my thought. Orange Julius got back in there because it's a smooth, slick talker. And so many people fell for it and now regret it. That's how the enemy operates.
That's part two. Is it part two?
Oh, that's part two. See, anybody learn anything from the first term?
And the answer to that question is no.
Anybody. She was so precise with that typing.
I mean, you know what? He is a slick talker, but it wasn't that he was so slick that 55 or 65, whatever million people voted for him. He wasn't that slick. It was some people just wanted somebody to give them a right to, like we said, some people wanted to kick out immigrants, so they voted for him. Some people wanted to put LGBTQs in a place, so they voted for him. They didn't look at his whole entire picture. They looked at one aspect of what he said and ran with that.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Over everything, it made it. They voted for him. So you're right, Anita. He's a slick talker, but 65 million people.
Byron Donaldson is a slick talker too.
So was Jim Jones.
He's a slick talker, and the thing is, right? They talk so they're really good at it. I mean, they top of the line at it. That when you listen to them and they don't stutter, then it's like you can believe what they're saying because the American people want to do this, and yes, and then we got this. I saw the fact, and the fact is like all of a sudden you're the only one who's giving facts, but yet you're being fact checked that no, that's incorrect.
Yeah.
And it goes on all the time.
Yeah.
He said,
Percentage in can, but then again, so we're three churches. Let me be real quick on this. We're three churches. You give 15%, Simon gives 20%, I give the rest. So then when something gets done, because I gave the rest, I should make the decision. I gave the most, I make the decision on what's done. Then why would these two churches want to come in with me? No, it isn't. Let's go on.
Yeah,
Now, I think it just wants to get his man.
Security don't need new parking lots. Just walk careful. Come on, gents.
He just wants to get his man.
Anyway, you just want to say something anyway. Yeah. I'll see you at convocation, Larry. That's in June the 24th.
People weren't ready for a female black president. That's partially it, but also the Democrats didn't do enough to make him look.
No, they didn't. That's the unfortunate thing.
Brothers, the slicker the talker, the better the police. Sounds like you talk about yourself. To get elected, don't blame the player, blame the game. Yeah, you talking about yourself, Larry. Come on, man. Hopefully you do come to convocation June the 24th to the 27th.
Park up across the street, the other church.
Yeah.
And this guy here, you know,
Elon Musk
president for DJT. That's it. I like using that. DJT.
Donald J. Trump. That's that DJT. All right. But he did buy it. Last one.
Larry.
You need to cool down. What? Why he talking to himself?
See, Larry's just trying to get people to come at him.
Right. I know.
Anyway.
That's time to cut off. Oh, wait a minute. My daughter's on there. No, what? Larry, you must have voted for Trump. And she not making any sense at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your comments tonight. This was a good show. And yeah, stay with us next week because we don't know what we're going to talk about yet. But continue to look for it out on YouTube or Facebook or the upcoming show. In all seriousness, we appreciate you. We love having fun with you. And we love having good, stimulating conversation. Everybody. So remember, the political landscape. Keep your eyes open.
Keep it on.
Pray. Christian brothers and sisters, keep in prayer. There's a reason why we're going through it. God has an answer, and it's going to come soon. So just pray.
That's right. So stay tuned next week, and we're going to say,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
We were kind of close.
I don't know if that was on time or not.
It was
on time
because we didn't hear each other.